So hi engineering Janta, I am Vaibhav Shukla and today I welcome you all to the day 3 of this DSA for placement series. So before I begin, I can see your chats in the live chat section. So just confirm whether I'm visible and I'm audible to you. Then I'll begin with today's session. Fine. So if I'm visible and if I'm audible, go ahead, tell me in the chat section and just type a yes and then we'll begin with it. Great, great. So first of all, I hope you all guys are practicing a lot. You are working a lot hard. Fine. So before I begin, as usual, as I tell you, anything you want to ask me, you come here at this Instagram handle at @Shuklaji Speaks. Fine. This is my Instagram handle. Here you can come and ask me anything you want and I'll provide you with your query solutions. Fine. So today we are entering the day 3 of this series. We have covered the day 1. We have covered the day 2. Now day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6 and day 7. These are left. Now let me tell you one thing. Post day 3, which means basically after today, you will be done approximately with half of the things that are required for your DSA journey. Fine. You have understood the arrays. You have already understood the hashing. Fine. You have understood hash maps and their usage in key value pairs. You've understood 2 pointers. Fine. And to all my students who are watching this, just imagine, just in 2 days you have advanced this much that if you're practicing with me and if you're going ahead and doing the self-study, you are already ahead than almost 45 to 50% crowd. Fine. Almost 45 to 50% crowd is generally involved in this portion only. Fine. Rather more than 50% to be very blunt. Hi Muskan, Radhe Radhe. Fine. So if I'm very blunt, then more than 50% people are still stuck here and you have already conquered this barrier. A lot of you initially were saying, sir, hum arrays padhte hain and then we keep on iterating on arrays. Correct? You've already moved ahead with 3 more topics. Fine. Today we'll see about stacks. Fine. And we'll see how stack operations themselves can be performed. Fine. So primarily the topic for today is stacks only. And we'll understand about this data structure first. I'll give you the very basic of this data structure. Then we'll move ahead. Then we'll understand what exactly and how exactly you can code and perform things in stacks. Fine. So primarily we'll do 2 problems here today, which are mostly asked. One is valid parenthesis problem or the balanced parenthesis problem. This is one and the same problem. Fine. Now to all those people who want this valid parenthesis problem to be solved, and if you have ever DM'd me challenge on my Instagram, I've always asked this question. Fine. Of course I'll change because I'm teaching it today. But this particular question has been asked to me so many times in interviews, and in some way or the other, it is being used if you're a stack person or if your interviewer is a stack person. If he wants to ask questions on stack, somewhere, somehow or the other, this question or the concepts used in this question will pop up. Fine. Apart from this, the second thing, which is very important, is evaluating postfix notations. Fine. This is another question that is asked. And now let me tell you, this postfix notation is also known as reverse polish notation. Usually people give this word reverse polish. They do not give you postfix because everybody is expected to study postfix, right? Postfix is a very simple word. Most of the students are acquainted with it, but a lot of students don't know what exactly is reverse polish notation. So I'll clear you that as well. But first of all, let's understand stacks today. Fine. Okay, I'll be here. Sir, I'm able to solve 95% of easy problems, but I get stuck on medium level problems. Any advice? Yes, look on solutions. Fine, Anuj. initially for 15-20 medium level problems, you'll have to see the solutions. Don't think that you're doing it wrong. You have to see the solutions initially, then only you can build over it. Fine. Hi, Shashank. Yes, I remember you texted me on LinkedIn, and Shashank, you drop your doubt, whatever you wanted to discuss, we'll discuss it today. Fine. Bhavya Sri Rami Shetty, for service-based companies, how much DSA is important? Easy level questions, fine, of DSA, and I would say from every topic, do at least 1 to 2 medium level questions. That would be enough. Fine, Bhavya. So fine, let's go ahead. Let's straight away hit the nail right. Fine, so let's go ahead and understand stacks. What are stacks? So stacks are a data structure that work rather, correct grammar is work, or I should write stack is a data structure. That would be more appropriate. Fine. So stack is a data structure that works on LIFO principle. Fine. Now what is this LIFO principle? Very important for interview. Fine. Note it down. To all those people who are watching this, note it down. This is very important in stacks. Whenever somebody asks you about stacks, the first thing he's going to give you is, tell me about the LIFO principle, or tell me about what principle is used in stacks, on what principle do the stacks operate. So it is LIFO. Now what does this LIFO stand for? Fine. How many of you know it? Tell me in the chat section. How many of you know it? Great, Shashi. Great. Please optimize the encode and decode from arrays, maybe at the end of the section. I'll see to it. What's there? We'll see to it in today's. Fine. Last in, first out. Correct. This is last in, first out. Why is it so? Why it happens in such manner? Because stacks look like this. Fine. Pardon, this is not a good structure to follow. I would say like this. Fine. So this is how stacks look. Honestly, in memory location, this is not the real structure, but the general imagination of stack is the elements are piled on top of each other. Fine. So on top of each other, they are piled up. For example, 10, 12, 13, 14. So 14 is the last element that was in. So whenever I pop out or I take out some element from here, it would be the first one to be out. Operations on stack. The primary operations on stack are push for insertion, fine, and pop for removal. Fine. I hope this much is clear to everybody. I hope everybody knows this much. How much duration of classes? Most probably 1 hour, somewhere around 1 hour. Fine. Is first pops are in LIFO. Correct, Shashank. Absolutely first. Q is FIFO. Correct. Wedding plates example. Absolutely. Great, Anuj. What a great example Anuj has given. See, Anuj has given a fantastic example. This is one plate. Over it, there is another plate. Over it, there is another plate. Over it, there is another plate. Fine. So such wedding plates are also a stack. Or the clothes that you have in home. Fine. So for example, you have this shirt of yours. Fine. Like this. Something like this. Fine. Over it, you have another shirt which is piled up. Fine. So like this, you have structures or structures. Fine. Stacks. Ignore my drawing because I'm very bad at it. You know one anecdote of mine. You know what? While I was studying in class 10, my teacher asked me once that you go ahead and draw something in your drawing file. Fine. And I didn't. She said, till tomorrow I want it completely filled. What I did was I took off all the pages that were present in that. Fine. I showed her one drawing. I said, you wanted it to be completely filled. It is completely filled. So I was that kind of a student. So if you're better than this, you're doing good. Sir, is this enough DSA for placement? This DSA is actually enough for placement because I give homework with it as well. If you're completing the homework, if you're coming regularly in classes, this is enough for placement. Fine. For your college level placement or service level placement, service based companies, it is enough. It is not enough for Google, Meta, Netflix. No, it's not enough. Fine. Tower of Hanoi. Yes. Yes, correct. So let's go ahead. Let's solve the first question, which is valid parenthesis problem. Fine, this is called valid parenthesis problem. Now what is the valid parenthesis problem? Understand it well. For example, if I say this is the string that I got, fine, these are two strings that I got. One is this. Let's take one more string. I'll say like this. Fine. So these are three strings that I got. Is this valid parenthesis? The first one. Is the first one valid parenthesis? However, I've taught this problem earlier as well as balanced parenthesis problem. So if you've seen that video, you would be knowing this code. Fine. Now to all the people, tell me, is the first parenthesis valid? I'll give you the conditions for valid parenthesis. Number one, every opening bracket should be closed in correct order. Secondly, pairs should exist. Fine. Now these are very vague details that I'm giving you. You won't be able to understand them easily. So to all of you, is this a valid or balanced parenthesis? I'll do it for you and then you do other examples. Fine. So if you see, this is the opening bracket. Fine. For this, rather I'll take a different ink so that you can be well in line with what I am teaching. So this is an opening bracket. Fine. For this, a pair exists. Yes. Is this an opening bracket? Yes. For this, pair exists. Yes. So this is verified. Now every opening bracket is closed in correct order. So this opening bracket, this one, is having the correct order of closing bracket, this one. Similarly, this opening bracket is also closed in the correct order, right? But when you come here, the pairs are present, but the order of closing of these two brackets is not correct. First opening bracket comes, then closing bracket comes, isn't it? Also, had it been like this, still it would have been wrong, because every time you want to close an opening bracket, you have to close it with its closing pair. Fine. So third one is wrong. Okay. Second one is wrong. Only first one is right. Fine. So let's first of all check whether you guys are understanding or not what I'm saying. So I'm giving you another example. Tell me whether it is fine or not. Fine. Is this a valid parenthesis that I just drew here? Tell me in the chat section. Tell me, is this a valid parenthesis? Is this a set of valid parentheses? Yes, correct. Good. Now tell me, is this a set of valid parentheses? Now I've made another one. Tell me, is this a valid parenthesis? No. Correct. Absolutely correct. Very good. So all of you understood what exactly is valid parenthesis. Fine. Now the whole point is you have to check that which string is valid and which is not. You know now all these are strings that we will pass. Fine. First of all, today I'll explain the code in C++. One question I'll explain in C++. Another question I'll explain in Python. If you want, then again in C++, of course. But try understanding the logic, not the language. Fine. Try understanding the logic. That's more important. Is everybody clear with it? Is everybody so far clear? Then I'll go ahead with the logic of this question. What are we going to do? I'll explain you the logic first, then the code. We'll not directly move to the code. Great, great. So let's actually try. What are we going to do? Fine. So whenever I find any of what I'll do, I'll use a stack to solve it. Number one, whenever I find an opening bracket, fine. Whenever I find an opening bracket, I'll push it here in the stack. Whenever I find the closing bracket, I'll pop the topmost element. I'll check whether it is the correct pair. If it is correct pair, I'll simply discard it off. If it is not the correct pair, I'll simply say it is not the correct pair. I'll immediately stop. Fine. So what basically I'm saying is, for example, let's take this particular string. Fine. The first string. So this is the string. Fine. This is the string. I take the first character, it is an opening bracket, I push it in. I go to second character, it is an opening bracket, I push it in. Now I come to the third character, which is a closing. This is a closing bracket. Now I check the top of this stack. If it is a pair to this closing bracket, if it is the correct opening pair, then I pop it out. Fine. What I do is I pop this out. Fine. I pop this out and I discard it basically. Then I move to another character, which is again a closing bracket. So I go check the top. It is the correct opening pair. I pop it out. Fine. I simply pop it out and the stack becomes empty. Now I have completely traversed the string. If I have gone through the complete string and the stack is empty, then it is a valid parenthesis. Simple. Why is it so? For every correct pair, I was popping out. Fine. So if all the pairs are correct, the stack would be empty. Fine. If there are no correct pairs, then it would not be empty. As simple as that. Fine. Is it clear so far? Is the logic clear to everybody? The logic is very basic, but it is often asked a lot. So is it clear to all of you? First of all, tell me. Great. बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत सही. तो अब अपन क्या करेंगे? We'll remove all this. Fine. And we'll try checking the code. Okay. So the initial portion that I've written here is just the basic of C++. Everybody knows this. Fine. Vaishnavi, Jai Satya, great, you guys understood. Fine. Leave this check pair function. Right now I'm not going to discuss it. I'll first of all discuss the check balanced function. Then we'll come to this check pair. Okay. So for check balanced, it is a boolean type of function. Basically it has the return type boolean and it would take some string as an expression. So I would say, let's take this particular string, first example only. Fine. Let's do this. And then we'll try other examples as well. Fine. We took this example. So basically I'm passing this here, this whole string. Then I created a stack of characters S. Okay. I created a stack of characters S. I'll go ahead. I'll deploy a loop. In this, there is an integer I. Then I less than expression of length. So basically I'm iterating through whole string. I hope this is very, very easy. Now it is clear to everybody. I've taught you arrays, I've taught you hashing. If you have not practiced enough, go back, practice it. There is the basic increment for I at every step. Then you go ahead, you check if it is any opening bracket. So expression of I equals to this opening bracket, or this is an or operator. This is or, logical or. Then you check if it is this square kind of opening bracket or this is curly kind of opening bracket. If it is any kind of opening parenthesis, what I'm going to do is s dot push. If I have this stack, if I encounter any of the opening brackets, I'll execute this push. Fine. So what was the first element that I had? Fine. So this was our string, right? So for this string, this was the first element, which is an opening bracket. It is of this type. So I'll use this. I'll push it here. Fine. Now, when I used this if structure, this else structure will not execute. This whole structure of else would not execute. Correct? This whole else structure is going to be discarded. Once it is discarded, then what will happen? The for loop is ending here. So for is not yet completed. I'll go to the next element, which is now my I starts pointing at this particular element. Fine. I starts pointing here. Again, this is this type of opening bracket. So again, it would be pushed because this s dot push would execute. Fine. ये सब समझ में आ रहा है? Is it so far clear to everybody? Is it clear? Because the next time when I iterate further, things would change. So is it clear to everybody? यहाँ तक अगर सबको clear है, then I would proceed forward. फटाफट बताओ. Great, great. Now what I'll do is I'll remove all this. Fine. What I'll do is Now this if has executed, else would not work. Again, the I goes to the next element of the string, and what is it? This closing bracket. This time we have encountered a closing bracket, so this if block would not work because there is no closing bracket here. Now if it is not a type of opening bracket and if it is a type of closing bracket, this else block would execute. So if S is empty, then return false. Now why is it returning false? We'll come to it. We'll come to it. But right now, this particular condition we can't find true, so this would not work because stack is not empty. Now it is saying else if check pair, and how do you check the pair? The expression of I. What is this expression of I? Basically this character, fine, because this is expr is the string that we were using. The character of this string, this third character, is closing bracket, so this is closing bracket. S dot top is the opening bracket, fine, because this is the stack top. This is S dot top, fine. So I go ahead. If this is found true, check pair is basically checking whether it is the correct pair or not. So we can see it that it is a correct pair, but how does this check pair check it out? So let's go back and let's understand this check pair now. So you understand why I left check pair. There was a reason I told you that I'll explain check pair afterwards. Now you've reached check pair. Here, one value is this, the other value is this. Val1 is the opening bracket, val2 is the closing bracket. And we have clearly given the conditions to it. Return, it is a bool type of function, so any value that would be returned to this function would be true or false. Fine, only two values are possible as the return to this particular function. Now if value 1 is opening bracket of this and value 2 is opening bracket of this, if this is true, return this true. Or if it is a square opening bracket and a closed square bracket pair, value 1 and value 2, then if both are true, then return true. If value 1 is this curly braces and value 2 is the closing curly brackets, then please go ahead, please return true. If any of these three conditions doesn't satisfy, had it been like this, so value 1 would have been this, but value 2 would have been different, so I would not use, है ना? So here the case is this one, this particular case is being used here, fine. So value 1 and value 2, value 1 is this, value 2 is this, so both are true. If both are true, then it would return the value true in this case because it is a pair, fine. So this is true, and if this is true, this else if would work. If this works, s dot pop will happen, fine. S dot pop क्या करेगा? It would bring this element out, fine. So basically it will pop this element out. This was the element we were encountering, and basically after popping, it would continue, fine. So it would simply continue. What does this continue do? You come out of the loop, you start again. So if I start again with the loop, what would happen? My I would be incremented, correct? My I would start pointing here. Again I have a closing bracket, so this has gone. I have this closing bracket. This if won't work, again else would work. If s dot empty, s is not empty. This is the top of stack this time, fine. So I'll return this time, I'll change the values here. So s dot top is what? This opening bracket, expression of I this time. I is pointing at this particular place, so this is the character which is the closing parenthesis. Both are pair, so check pair would return true. When the true comes out, this would execute, pop would happen. When pop happens, this would be taken away, fine. The stack has become empty if you carefully see, fine. So in this case, fine, in this case, if this else hadn't executed, fine, then we would have returned false, but this time it executed, so continue would work. When you go ahead with continue, I has reached this last, I has now become equal to expression dot length, fine. So it has basically traversed the whole expression, fine. So now I cannot go ahead with this for loop. This for loop would stop executing, and this particular function return s dot empty, fine. So if s dot empty is true, it would return true because this was a bool function. If s.empty is false, it would return false. So here s.empty is true, henceforth it would return true. And I'll go further. I'll give an expression. I'll check balanced expression. So this is a basic conditional operator. So if it is true, you basically print out balanced. If it is false, you print out not balanced. Okay, or you can print out valid and you can print out not valid. Fine, it is up to you. Is the code clear to everybody? In this case it was true, so you can go ahead with valid. Is the code clear to everybody? Tell me, is the code so far clear to everybody? फटाफट बताओ. Yes, correct, good. Now there is one thing that is still left. There is one thing that is still left. What is this? This if block, if s.empty, it is not working. Fine. So how would we return false? I'll tell you. For example, let's say there is some string like this. This is a string. Is it a valid parenthesis? First of all, tell me. Is it a valid parenthesis? Tell me. Is it a valid parenthesis? Java also. Of course, Ashika, I'll show this in Java as well. But you know what? I daily show in Java. There has not been a single class so far in which I have not shown the code in Java. I'll show you the code in Java as well. It is a very simple basic code. You can do the same things in Java just with the push and pop operations. I guess everybody who is studying from me in DSA classes has so far understood that the logic remains same, only the syntaxes change. Fine. Fine, I'll explain in Python as well, don't worry. The structures would remain absolutely same. Everything would remain same. Nothing would change. Fine. The basic logic remains always the same. Okay. Now tell me first of all, yes, a lot of people have told. So no, it is not a valid parenthesis. Now if I go ahead and if I pass this string here, fine, if I erase this out, and what if I tell you that if I pass this string here, fine, what would happen? I'll assign this string to a expression, fine. No opening bracket is present, so if block would not execute. In this case, initial stack, the stack that we are having initially, isn't it empty? Isn't it empty? Because this was my expression. I could not push any opening bracket inside stack. Stack was already empty. So straight away return false. Any string that is starting with closing bracket can never be a correct or a valid parenthesis. The simple reason is you need an opening bracket to start first. Fine. Okay, Ashika, no issues. No issues. I'll show you with the Java as well, don't worry. So far clear? अब कोड का एक एक पोर्शन, एक एक लाइन कोड की क्लियर है. Is everything clear so far of code? Tell me. This is C++ only, Shikha. That I showed you is C++ only. Now I'll show the Python and Java codes. Is so far everything clear? Great. बहुत बढ़िया. शिखा कोई डाउट है तो लिखिए. Whatever doubt you're facing, go ahead, write it out. Fine, so let's go ahead and let's understand here. So when you scroll down and you come to stack, the first problem is valid parenthesis problem. Okay, बहुत बढ़िया. See, in Java I'll show you the same method. Stack, fine. So this is the Java method, fine. What you do here is you use a map, hash map basically. What you do is you create isValid function, you put a string here, okay. Once you put a string here, whatever string you had, then you go to stack, you create a new stack, you have a new hash map. In this hash map you basically store the key value pairs. Close to open is the name of this hash map. In this, to this closing bracket you have this opening bracket, to this square closing bracket you have a square opening bracket, to a curly closing bracket you have a curly opening bracket. Then what you do is you iterate through every character C which is present in S string, and you use to_char array. Basically you use this function to make it into a character array. Then you use if again like we used there. So if it contains key, so it is a hash map being used. So you simply check if it contains key of this type. So basically if it has any closing bracket, fine. If it has any closing bracket, fine. If close to open dot contains key C, which was the character that you were iterating through, if it is present there, then you actually check. Stacks is actually taking my mind over, I guess. You check stack dot is empty and stack dot peak. So this would return top of it, fine. So you check if it is true, fine, and if the stack dot peak, fine, it is there and the key value matches to this value, close to open dot get C, then you pop, else you return false, fine. If you basically find any of this condition not true, you basically pop. So this is not stack is empty, fine. So stack should not be empty. So in case stack is empty, this would be 0, this condition would become 0, and you are having logical AND, so this whole condition would become false. You will immediately return false if stack is empty. If stack is not empty and the top of it, if the top of it is equal to the value pair of this hash map, fine. Same logic, absolutely same logic, fine. If the both pairs are available in the correct order here, from this you will get the value to a corresponding key. For example, you got this particular closing bracket, you saw that it is not empty, the stack is not empty, and then you saw that on the top the bracket or the opening pair that I have in the stack is this, fine. Then you basically do the pop, fine. You basically take it out and you reject it and stack becomes valid. Basically this particular pair would be matched, otherwise false would be returned. Or if you find any opening bracket, you would simply push, then you check if the stack is empty or not, fine. As simple as that. Okay, all clear शिखा उपाध्याय? बहुत बढ़िया सर। पाइथन में स्टैक कैसे डिक्लेयर करेंगे? बता रहा हूं सभी लोग जो, एक बार दोबारा बताऊं नेस्टेड इफ। ओके देखो, पहले ये बताओ ये समझ में आया हैश मैप? पहले ये बताओ आशिका, हैश मैप समझ में आया? ये बताओ पहले। चलो एक काम करते हैं आशिका, हम एक ब्लैंक शीट पे समझते हैं इसे, ठीक है? हम इसे एक ब्लैंक शीट पे समझते हैं, आ जाओ यहाँ पे समझते हैं, ठीक है? आपके लिए थोड़ा आसान कर देते। ओके ओके, आशिका इज एक्चुअली an English medium student, so no issues Ashika, we'll understand it over blank sheet, fine. Again my tab has been doing some problems here and there, I don't know why it does this always, fine. So let's see if it lets me do some work. Okay fine, just to pick a single color I have to do such hard work. So basically we have declared a, see it is not writing again, I don't know what exactly is the problem with this, fine. See now it is showing, no issues, we'll use it here only, fine. Let's use this color, so I am rejecting this all. So hash map, fine. What kind of hash map are we using, Ashika? For this particular key I'll write key here, value here, fine. So for this key I am having this particular value, for this key I am having this particular value, for this key I am having this particular value. Okay, hash map meaning, Shashank, if you have attended the first class you would understand what's hash map. It is basically a data structure like dictionary, fine. You have studied dictionary with me Python in Python classes, you were regular there, I know. So it is just the same thing, fine. It is no nothing different here, fine. Am I not audible? Am I not audible to you guys? I hope I am audible to everybody. So this is hash map that we have initially declared, fine. Ashika, see, this is the hash map that we have made, close to open. Okay, this is the same thing, fine. Now what I am doing is I am saying let's check if initially what I am trying is I am trying that if I go ahead, fine, I had an expression, for example I had this expression, fine, I had this expression. So initially I got this, correct? So what I am saying is initially check whether close to open, first of all, for every character that we are scanning, basically this traversing is happening with for loop. If close to open dot contains key of C, fine. If you basically have any of this kind of key, which is these closing brackets, if I encounter any kind of closing brackets, so these are keys of it, fine. I do not have any kind of key right now, I have an opening bracket. So for that, this else portion would work, which is stack dot push, fine. This is simply stack dot push, fine. Ashika, I hope you are understanding this. So now I'll take the stack, I'll push it in. Again, I'll go to the next bracket. Again, it is the same opening bracket. So I'll push it again. Now, when I come here, this time, the first if block, this one would work. Why so? Because in close to open hash map, basically the hash map we have here we actually have this particular key. This key is present here, right? So this if becomes true. Now I'll go ahead, I'll check whether the stack is empty or not. So stack is not empty. This not stack is empty. Stack is empty, and then you have a not operator with it. So basically I want to check if the stack is not empty, which is true, and then you have logical and. Then what is the condition? You check whether the top of it is actually the value of the key that you have here. I'll tell you what I'm exactly saying. So basically you first of all checked whether it is empty or not. So it is not empty. First condition of if is valid, fine. And you have basically stack dot top, fine. So stack dot top, or basically the peak returns this particular top value. So this is particular opening bracket is equal to what? It is equal, you are checking whether it is equal to the value that is present for the particular key that you gave. Key was C. So let's check it out again. So here key was this. For this particular key, what is the value? Opening bracket. So this is the value. This is true, fine. So this also becomes, the second condition also becomes true. If it becomes true, you're basically doing stack dot pop. So you're basically popping this out, fine. So I am actually removing this out, fine. I remove this. Same, I go ahead again. I go ahead here. I check it out, and then again I'll do the same thing. So stack is not empty. Then for this particular key, I'll check whether the value I have. So basically this was stack dot top. So stack dot top, pardon. This stack dot top would look like this. So first of all, write stack dot top or the stack dot peak, which is this. I wrote it. Now the key that we were having was this. For this key, this square closing bracket, this key, the value is the opening bracket. This condition becomes true. Again, stack dot pop happens. I'll remove it. Now I'll go ahead, I'll check return stack dot is empty. So if stack is empty, it would return true. If it is not empty, it would return false. Simple, fine. Is empty basically checks whether it is empty or not, fine. So is empty, if the stack is empty, this function would return true. If the stack is not empty, it would return false. Is the Java code clear to everybody? Is the Java code clear? Ashika, is it clear to you? Oh, great. Finally. Same is happening here, guys. Same, absolutely same is happening in Python. See, we used is valid function, self is the instance, string we gave it, bool is the return type of the function. You declared a list called stack, fine. You used a close to open dictionary. Now dictionary serves the same purpose as hash map. All the Python people, this is for you, fine. For C, in this particular string, for any character, you keep on checking if the stack is not empty, fine. And stack of -1 is equal to close to open C, basically again the value and the top is being checked, then you pop, otherwise you return false. If you have no closing bracket initially, if you encounter any opening bracket, you are simply going to execute this else block, and then you're going to return true if not stack, else false. So basically this statement not stack is basically Stack says if it is empty, fine. Not stack means if it is empty, stack means if it is having some element, fine. So if not stack is true, which means stack is empty, then you would return true, else you would return false. Basic Python, fine. So I hope this is clear. I'm not having water with me, so I'll be stuck with this. No issues, fine. I'll go ahead to the second question. So I hope the first question of stacks is very clear. Now I'm going to move to the reverse polish notation, fine. I'm going to move to this question and we'll solve this again using the stacks method. This is a very easy question, but still it is considered one of the most moderately tough questions in stack. So first question I hope is clear to everybody, and we'll move to this question of evaluating postfix notation, fine. So is everybody knowing the postfix notation? Tell me first. So to tell you all, there are three types of notations. Postfix notations are those notations in which, first of all, the operands and the operator are basically in a manner where the traversal becomes left, right, and in the end you traverse the route. Okay. So basically the operators are written in the last in postfix notations. In prefix notations, operators are generally written in the first. And in the infix notations, you generally have operands and operators, and then you have operators infused between two operands, fine. So I hope this is not very clear. So this a plus b, this is an infix form, fine. AB plus, this is a postfix form, fine. Then plus AB, this is a prefix form. Now this postfix is also known as reverse polish notation, and this is always asked like this, that you tell me that what is reverse polish notation and you write a code to actually solve reverse polish notation, fine. So Muskan, you got prefix, fine. I don't know what exactly you are trying to write, but fine, whatever you're saying is right, fine. Now reverse polish notation is also called postfix notation or vice versa, fine. So postfix notation has another name, reverse polish notation, same names, fine. Now let's understand that you have this particular postfix notation, fine. This is a postfix notation. You have to calculate the result of it. How would you do it? How would you actually calculate the result to it? Let's understand, fine. So had it been an infix operation, how would it look like? Fine. So it would look like something like this, fine. So this would be like this, something like this, fine. So it would be basically 2 plus 1, fine, into 3. We can understand this. This is going to give us the result 9. Basic. I just converted it into infix. Awesome, sir. I can see from the master. Thank you so much, Shashank. Thank you so much. Fine. Now let's understand how exactly you can calculate this using a stack. Okay. So I'll simply show you the code first so that we can move on to the code. Let's go to the code. I'll keep up these and I'll go to the code of it. So see here, I'll show it in Python because it is same code everywhere. Understand the logic. I always say this, go for the logic, fine. This is the same code. Okay, let's copy out this code. And why am I copying this out? You'll understand. I'll copy this out. I'll go to this page. I'll insert. I want a text block basically here, fine. So let's see whether it pastes over it or not. No, not in this manner. I don't want it in this manner. No issues. I'll write it out. I'll write it for you, fine. Let's write this code down there so that at least you guys have a better understanding of it, because I guess writing the code on paper gives much clarity than any other thing. So class solution, I'll write the exact code that is written on the site so that it helps you out. Define evaluate reverse polish notation self, then you declare a token, basically a list of your string, fine, and list of string type, fine, and this would basically return integer type. This function would return integer type, fine. I will have a return of integer type. Then I'll define another function inside it, which is DFS. Now this is a function being used for calculation, and basically I'll write it like this. So token, and then tokens dot pop. Now let's go with if condition. If this token, or rather write it like this, if token not in plus minus star and divide, basically this divide, fine. Then what to do? Is it visible to all of you? Sir, you can take correct. Wow, I am so old fashioned. I am writing the whole code. What a beautiful thing. One of our students told, sir, you can take a screenshot of it. And I am so slow and old fashioned, old school person. I am not taking a screenshot of it. Very smart of you guys. Well done. I am really proud of you. So I'll take a screenshot of it. Beautiful. Loved your suggestion. I wish you get placed in Microsoft. Fine, the snipping tool is, I guess, not working in the notifications. No, it's working. Perfect. So I'll rather copy this and I'll paste this on a new slide. I hope this solution is visible to everybody. Great. Whoever gave this idea, who was this? Viewpoint Voyage. Bro, जितनी दुआएं दूं तुम्हें उतनी कम. बहुत ही बेहतरीन. Thank you so much for pointing this out. Now, to all of you, your valuable suggestions might earn you some extra good wishes from my side, so keep giving this. Fine. Now let's understand this. देखो, there is this function eval rpn. Fine. Let's take any string. What string did we have earlier? What was it? 2 1 plus 3 and then star. I wrote it randomly and now I'm not able to remember. So 2, rather, let's take some other good dark ink. 2 1, then we had plus, then we had 3, and then we had star. Correct? So this was our expression. Now what does this particular thing do? So here I declare a function called eval rpn, right? This would evaluate my reverse polish notation. I pass on a string here. Fine. Basically I'm passing out a list of these characters, if you carefully see. Then what I'm doing is I'm defining a DFS function. I'm saying whatever you see here, basically my pointer would start from here. We are scanning it from right to left. Fine, we'll scan it from here. The reason I'm scanning it from here is very simple. I'm using it like a stack. I'm using the stack principle. So here I'm storing it in this format. Fine. So we are using stacks for it, very simply. And this list basically that we have created is being used as a stack. Okay. Now, how do I know that it is being used as a stack? Because I'm using a stack operation pop here. So it would treat this whole input as a stack. Okay. It would treat this whole input as a stack just because I used pop here. Okay. That's why Python is great. हाँ यार, I used snippet tool. हो गया वो. Great. Wish for me also, sir. For everybody, I wish you might get placed in Google and Microsoft. Fine. Happy Shashi Shashank. I wish you everybody go through that. Now, guys, listen here. If I go ahead and if I encounter anything here, I'll pop it out. If it is not an operator, so basically if it is not plus, if it is not minus, if it is not star, if it is not the divide or the operator that helps you in division, then you'll go ahead and you'll convert that particular thing into an integer and return it. Fine. So what exactly is this function doing? Let's understand the flow of this function, because it is a recursive function. Once you go ahead, you'll need to understand this through a recursion tree. So I'll take this DFS function. I'll use this string only, so I passed this particular string here. The initial character or the top character was star, correct? So token equals to tokens.pop. So what I'll do is, initially this gives you out this particular character, so it pops it out, right? The pop works and it goes out, right? Now if you carefully see, this particular token is not satisfying this if block. Why this is not satisfying the if block? The very simple reason to it is, token is not in plus, minus, star and divide, but it is present, so this if block would not work. Now there are two different statements that would execute parallelly at this level, which is right and the another one is left. Now what is happening in right and left? I would rather shift myself this time somewhere at other place so that you guys can see the screen clearly. Okay, so let's do this. Fine. I hope I'm visible to all of you. Now all I'm going to do is, I'm going to put myself here. Okay, so that at least you guys can see me clearly and see my screen clearly primarily. So I hope the screen is visible and everything is visible here on the right side, whatever I'm doing, because this is important, what I'm writing here. Fine, great. So let's come back here and let's understand what we are trying to do here. Okay, I think I'll need to get this tab changed because it is significantly problematic, but fine, right now it is the thing that's helping us out. So DFS, you have one particular thing, fine, here. Now you did this star, you encountered, you went further, there are two statements right and left which will execute. Now right again says you have to execute DFS. Okay, right again says you have to execute DFS. For some odd reason, I guess it is not showing DFS. Fine, it is showing now. So I'll write it here itself, no issues, fine. Let's use this only. So again, DFS is here, fine. So for right also DFS is executing, for left also DFS is executing. So for this right DFS, what would happen? First of all, this right DFS would execute, then only this left would come, na? Then only the number of this left would come, because right is the first condition that is being called, or the first statement that is being used. So in right, what will the DFS do? DFS would again execute this much portion first. What would happen? It would see the top of this, it would pop it out. The popped token is not in this time this if block is true, so it would automatically return, it would not go further, it would return the integer type of the same token. So basically 3 would be popped out. It doesn't want 3 to remain there, fine, it doesn't want 3 to remain there. I'll erase this out, it doesn't want 3 to remain there, so 3 would be simply returned here as an integer, not as a character. This, the popped out thing was a character. This particular statement, this return integer token, it changed it into an integer. Now coming to the left portion, What would DFS do? DFS would find, this time these two things are already popped, so when it comes on the top it would find plus. Fine. Whenever you have plus or whenever you have any operator, what are you going to do? You're going ahead again dividing the same right and left portions. Fine. The right of it, this time again DFS. So I'll go ahead, I'll make the same table here. DFS star right. So far we have studied this left. Fine. This right executed its DFS. We encountered 3. Fine. This executed DFS. We encountered plus. Then again right. And then again left. Right would again execute its DFS. This time when it executes its DFS, what would we encounter? Because here we have already popped out this plus, so we'll encounter 1 here. Fine. So 1 would be popped out. So here what are we going to get? We are going to get 1, and here we are going to get 2. Fine. With the same logic, because 2 would remain on this particular place, and for the left of DFS, again for this particular DFS, this would work, this would pop out, and 2 would be there. Now if you carefully see what's happening in the code, let's see what's happening in the code. So code says whenever you've done this, you check if the token is equal to plus. Fine. If it is equal to plus, then left plus right. Fine. So return this and basically you end the function. So what are we going to do here is, when you found out plus, what you had to do was left plus right. And what are left and right here? So 2 plus 1, 3. So you would have 3, exactly the way postfix notations work. So this would return 3 here. So this becomes 3. Fine. This is returned to this left. Fine. This 3 is returned to this right. When you see this star, what would happen? Again for star, the code said elif token equals to star, return left into right. Fine. So you're basically doing left star right. So what was left? Left was 3, right was 3, and it would return 9 to DFS. Fine. And in the end, what are you doing? You're returning DFS. So basically whatever value you had here, you're returning DFS. Fine. You're returning this. So what did DFS return? It returned 9. Fine. You calculated. As simple as that. Basic recursion. Is it clear to everybody? The very basic recursion. Fine. Is it clear to everybody? Tell me. Tell me, is it clear to everybody? बताओ फटाफट. समझ में आया? बहुत इजी पीजी सी चीज है यार. बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत ही बढ़िया. Great. Sir, DFS means? DFS is just the name of the function. You want to name it, name it Shashi. Fine. You name it Rajesh, you name it Ashika. Anything. If you want, you can name it Ashika. No issues. This is just the name. DFS can be renamed to Ashika. Happy? Is it clear? Ashika, now you're okay with it? फटाफट बता दो अब, if you're okay with it. Tokens, sir. What is tokens? Tokens is a list. Simply, basically, the name of your stack is tokens. This is the name of your stack. Fine. This is the name of your stack. Token is a variable that stores character. Tokens is the name of the stack that you're using. Okay, ji? Happy? What does self do in the function declaration? Great question. Tarun, this is the Python code. Have you been through my Python series? If not, go there. On day 4 or day 5, I have taught this very clearly. Self is basically used to refer the instances of any class or of any function. Fine, whenever you define any function in a class, to access the instances of that method, you use this self keyword. Fine. Show us Java code. Okay. Java code is same. There is no change. See, absolutely same thing. You create a token list. Fine. Initially you create a string, fine, of tokens. You create a list, token list, and then this is a new array list, and then the same DFS token list is working here. Fine. Then you define this DFS function. Here in this token you basically store every element which is present on top. If it is not in this particular operator gang, if it is not plus, minus, star, or the division operator, then you return the integer type of the same token, because initially it was a string that you got. So you basically parse it into an integer in Java and you return it back. Then again the same right and left would work recursively as I showed you. Same logic, absolutely same logic, nothing is being changed except for the syntax. Then plus, minus would work in the same manner as they were working in Python. Similarly, here switch is being used. There we had used if and elif. You can use switches also. So basically switch is being used for case plus, you return left plus right. For minus, you return left minus right. For star, you return left star right. For division, you return left divided by right. Depth first search is DFS means. No, here it is not depth first search. Let me tell you, here I am not at all saying that DFS is depth first search. Here DFS is as simple as that it is a name of a method. I can name it Vaibhav as well. I can name it Shashank. I can name it anything. Fine. Okay, Shashi is saying, can you please optimize the encode and decode code from arrays? Is it not optimized? I guess it has the optimized approach as well. I'll just see encode and decode. It has it. If I'm not wrong, it has. See, it has optimal approach. The optimal approach is present here. Order of m or order of n is one and the same thing. See, it is happening here. You once go through this solution. Okay, Shashi, you go through this solution. And it's great that everybody of you have so far understood everything. Now, to all of you who want to study in detail, Prep Insta Prime is for you. I've shown you enough times. Fine. And you can go there and check that out. Okay. So there are various courses. If you want to do competitive coding, you want to build projects, I daily show it basically. You can go here, you can simply enroll into Prime here, and 36 months, whatever subscription you want, you can write, you can choose here, and then you use this coupon code Shukla10. It is available in the chat section. Please put in chat section. Okay guys. So Mahin, if it's you who's going ahead with the moderation, please put the code here in the chat section. So Shukla10 is basically the code. You can apply it and have some discounts for yourself. You're going to get 200 plus courses here, which would help you a lot. But guys, apart from this, the homework for today, let's discuss that first. Fine, because that's very, very important. I'll give you the homework itself. And so what is the homework? Your homework for today is this min stack problem, generate parenthesis, and daily temperatures. Fine. So I'm going to write it here. Min stack problem from 150 not out only. Fine. This is all available in 150 not out. Min stack problem, generate parenthesis, and there was one temperature problem that I fondly call. So what's the name of it? Daily temperatures. Fine. So daily temperatures problem. You have to go ahead, you have to study these problems. Fine. You have to study these 3 problems. And oh great, Ashika is enrolled already. Great. So guys, you go ahead, you study this, and whoever needs this, go ahead, teach them out. Whoever wants to learn from you, just be open for the teaching portion. Go ahead, teach people as much as you can. Go ahead, help your juniors, your seniors, your peers, whoever needs this. Always I say this in my every class, I'll still say this. Keep doing good for others without any expectation. Good will always come back to you. And I'm not kidding on this. It will always come back to you. Fine. So on that note, if there are any doubts, you can ask me out. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. I guess it's been a long time that you guys have been studying, है ना? बहुत लंबा time हो गया ना? I've been teaching you guys since a long time. It's been approximately an hour if I'm not wrong, right? Okay, so I guess there's no doubt that anybody is having, so I'll wrap this session up. I'll wrap this here. Have a wonderful day ahead to all of you, and keep practicing, keep doing the homework, because it's the homework, it's the self-study which is going to get you in big companies. Fine. And now let me explain you one great plan. Tomorrow is your aptitude class. Post that on your weekends, I'm not going to conduct any class. Fine. The reason is, on weekends, one very important exercise is to be done from your end. So all of you have to do this. Revise. Please revise on weekends. Fine. On weekends, you have to revise on Saturday, Sunday, and I'll meet you on Monday. I'm promising you that we'll go ahead on Monday. Somehow we'll conduct the class. Don't worry. Fine. We'll go live on Monday. Don't worry. Fine. If everything is fine. And because tomorrow can't be predicted, that's why I'm saying that. Otherwise, Saturday, Sundays are for revisions. Practice as much as you can, revise as much as you can. The Java series is continued, so you might find some videos of that as well. Keep studying hard, keep practicing hard. Have a wonderful day ahead. See you again. Bye bye. I'm ending the stream. We'll meet you in the next stream. Bye bye.